We love God. And if we are called according to the purpose of God. So Jesus said, thy will be done, whatever it takes. And we have to have that kind of attitude that, Lord, whatever it takes to do your will, whatever it takes that I can go to heaven, whatever it takes that I can hear you say one day, well done, thou good and faithful servant, that the angels will meet me on the other side, whatever it takes. And it went on to say, and there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. God will give his angels charge over you to strengthen you. He will not allow you to be tempted above that which you are able, but will with the temptation make a way to escape, that you might be able to bear it, not get out of it, but to bear it, to go through it. God's going to give you grace. He said to Paul, my grace is sufficient for thee. So God will give you grace. It will be adequate. It will get you through. It will give you strength to get through that. God did not remove the message of Satan, the thorn in the flesh, from Paul, but he just gave him grace. And once God made it known to Paul that I'm not going to remove this thorn, but I'm going to give you grace, then Paul began to rejoice and to say, I'm going to glory in my persecution. I'm going to glory in my infirmities and all the things that I'm going to be going through. I'm going to glory in it. I'm going to give God praise and magnify God in the midst of it. He said, because when I'm weak, then I'm strong. God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. God's strength shows up when we are at our weakest point, or we acknowledge that we cannot do it on our own. When we say to God, we have no might, we don't know what to do, but our eyes are upon thee. That's when God steps in, when we humble ourselves and acknowledge that we need him. Verse 44 says, and being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Sometimes, maybe we just need to pray more earnestly, or to pray the effectual, fervent prayer, the hot prayer. And so it goes on to say, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. To my understanding, when you're in so much agony, blood can come through your pores because of the pain and the agony that your body is going through. So if Jesus went through agony, this was in the garden, trying to get the victory over the flesh. Sometimes we just may have to go through the agony until we get the victory over the flesh. Jesus said, take up your cross and follow me. Now, let's take a look at Luke 9. Luke 9, and we're going to start at 23. It says, and he said unto them all, if any man will come after me, if you're going to follow Jesus, this is what you're going to have to do. It's not going to be a bed of roses. It's not going to be every day. It's going to be a good day. You're going to have some good days and some bad days. But when we weigh it out, our good days outweigh our bad days, and we should not complain. He says, if any man, that includes everybody, doesn't matter who it is, uh, every tongue, every kindred, and every nation, will come after me, let him deny himself. We do not want to deny ourselves pleasure. We do not want to deny ourselves the things that is going to take to follow Jesus. We want to be comfortable. We do not want any adversity, problems, trouble, suffering in our life. We just want a flowery bed of ease. But it's just not going to be like that if you're going to walk with Jesus. He said, and take up his cross daily. Every day you will have to take up your cross and go through something. Every day you're probably going to have to face something, but you got to take up that cross every day, amen, meaning trouble, and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. If we are so caught up in ourselves and trying to save our life or live our life that's comfortable for us, then we're going to lose it. If you want to walk in the broad way, that means not denying your flesh anything and not suffering. That's the broad way. If you want to walk in the broad way, you can. But there's also a narrow way where there's going to be some suffering involved. So he says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. Losing your life basically is saying surrendering to God. Surrendering to whatever he allows you to go through. Whatever it takes. Surrendering to him and submitting to him and allowing yourself to go through the heartache, the pain, whatever it takes, taking up that cross and following Jesus. When you take up the cross and follow Jesus, you will save your life. But if you live your life for yourself, you will lose it. Jesus was homeless. Jesus said, the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. The birds have a nest, and the fox have a hole, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. He did not have a home. He was homeless. And he rode into Jerusalem on a borrowed donkey. So a lot of the things that we complain about that we do not have, or we were not satisfied with what we have, consider Jesus. Consider what he went through. Consider that he did not have the things that we have today. But he was willing to suffer for you and for me. He was not suffering for himself. He was not suffering for crime. He had committed no crime. Even though they crucified him, nailed him to the cross, they whipped him beyond any man, he had not committed any crime. But he was willing to go through all of that because he said, I came to seek and to save. He said, I did not come to be served. He did not come for us to serve him. He said, but I came to serve you. So, you're going to go through adversity. If you want to reign with Christ, you must also suffer with him. You must follow in his steps. This is Alfonso Coble at sbcglobal.net.